this sponsorship, it was just a little thing, the sponsorship.
Well, it was Anne Boyd who went into the hills, trying to help take medication to TB. And the story she wrote made me write to her and find out more about it.
Yep.
So I did.
And you sponsored someone.
And that's when we started the sponsorship.
So what did the money that you gave do?
Well,
Initially, what were you looking to do?
well, in the beginning, it was understanding the need for care. To build the a school for the children of the leprosy children who couldn't go to the local school. So they built the school in the riverbed.
For leprosy kids?
Yeah. And then I think it was Mount Gambier that actually built a bridge to go, because the village ended up being in a riverbed at a rubbish dump, because leprosy was not accepted in the community. And well, it was Cheshire finding a boy that had been very ill, and then he was discharged from hospital to the street, and he felt that he needed somewhere to go. In the beginning, there was a child on the street, and then that developed.
And you sponsored one boy?
So we wrote to sponsor, one boy.
To go to school?
Yeah, well, just to live in the hostel, as it were. He could visit his parents, or as it turned out, in the end he lost his father, but Mum was in the leprosy village, and he could see her on the weekend.
Right.
Yeah, but when I went back in recent times, she was still there, and I sat down on the floor with her. She had an auntie, which was another person who had leprosy, and they shared a little bungalow, or whatever you'd like to call it, hut. And they had a doctor in that location as well. At that time, I think there were about 60 people living in this, separated from the children.
Right.
But they had a place to live and ability to buy food from the local market.
Yeah. So that little boy had children?
And when I knew him, he was only 5, so he later on met a lady in a similar condition, and they eventually got married, and then they had 2 children.
2 children? What are those children doing?
Well, one of those children, they were both wanting to be in a medical profession, and one sort of physio, and the other one's just passed her doctor.
So for sponsoring one little boy,
yeah,
who couldn't live with his mum and dad,
that's right.
because they had leprosy.
Yeah, that's right.
And now we have a doctor and a physiotherapist.
You do.
From one sponsorship.
Mm.
It's amazing what one little act of kindness does.
It is amazing, because suddenly my children realised, what's Mum doing? And because of the changes in technology and me not keeping up, my son keeps communication open, and hence the photo that came the other day.
So the 2 families now are connected.
Yes, very much so.
Down the
because
generations.
they don't have like a senior members in their family anymore. So my son is, and he's 53 or something.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just, and they call me Granny and they call him Uncle, and so they do the Facebook thing where I have to rely on other.
Others.
But the slow mail doesn't work very much now in India.
No, but the electronic mail.
Yes. The other thing we were able to do, getting to know them, was be able to send clothing and things to India.
Okay.
I used to go down to Port Adelaide with some crates of clothing, and eventually we were told that the clothing was disappearing on the wharf. So, and it was far better that we sent money, because they could produce the clothing, but they didn't have the money to buy.
Oh, okay. So that was after the sponsorship.
Actually, that was sort of while we still were sponsoring. So. Ryder-Cheshire Foundation was very active in South Australia at the end of the 60s and going into 1970, when the foundation started in Adelaide. And we were very much part of fundraising, selling cards, greeting cards. It was a very popular way of making funds, and then having an annual barbecue.
Okay.
So that was the big thing, but the individual was our own connection.
Right.
And I miss the letter writing. Must be showing my age.
No.
No. Yes.
No. Our grandchildren love the letters.
They do. And then I'd get drawings and pictures. So it was a great way. And photos could be sent as well. Yeah. But you could do that with this, but I don't.
Thanks very much, Trish.
Well, it's lovely to share the story. You suddenly realise that you're the matron in the room or something or other, and really there's probably more story. I'm more of an action person than a storyteller.